that you're going to need to make your basic 6 to 9 month beanie will include a size 4 weight worsted, medium, or Aran sized yarn. I'm going to use 2 different colors to show you the main body of the beanie and the border to the beanie, but you can absolutely use just one solid color for the entire beanie, including the body and the border. You'll need a crochet hook size H8 or 5 millimeters, a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, tapestry needle to weave in those ends, a measuring tape or a ruler to cut out the strips so we can make the braids on the ends of each ear flap, and optional is a pom-pom maker. And this pom-pom maker is roughly 3 inches in diameter, but of course that is completely optional. Once you've gathered up all of your materials, let's head right to actually making your beanie. We begin with a small tail, about 1.5 inches, before we create our slip knot. Perfect. The beanie is actually worked in rounds. So there's 2 different ways that you can begin. The first way is with a magic ring. The second way is with the chain 2 method. I am particularly fond of the chain 2 method. If you really like the magic ring, feel free to begin with the magic ring, and then I'll show you where we meet up to start working in unison. So I'm going to start by chaining 2. 1, 2. That chain 2 does not mean anything other than getting us to round 1. For round 1, we're going to make 11 double crochets in the very first chain, or 11 double crochets inside that magic ring. Remember that chain 2 does not count as a stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11. Great. To close round 1, we're going to look for the very first double crochet stitch. So completely avoiding the chain 2, looking for the first double crochet, and we will slip stitch in the top of that first double crochet. To get to round 2, we're going to chain 2, and that sets us up for round 2. For round 2, we're going to make 2 double crochets in each stitch all the way around. You should end round 2 with 22 double crochets. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 19, 20. So in that same stitch here, 21, 22. Great. Whatever you do, try to make sure that you end round 2 with 22 double crochets. Skipping over that chain 2, finding the very first double crochet, and I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet. Ready for round 3, chain 2, 1, 2. For round 3, the repeat pattern is going to be 2 double crochet in the very first stitch, and then 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochet, and then 1 double crochet. 2 double crochets in the same stitch is also known as an increased double crochet. So if you see that abbreviation, that's all that it means. Increased double crochet just means 2 double crochets in the same stitch. You will end round 3 with 33 double crochets. Here we go. 1, 2, and then 1. 1, 2, and then 1. 1, 2, and then 1. 30, 31, 32, and 33. Great. Slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet. This is what we're looking at here. And we're ready for round 4. For round 4, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. The pattern for round 4 will be increased double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet. Increased double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet. This is also known as 2 double crochet, 1, 1. 2 double crochet, 1, 1. You're going to repeat this pattern all the way around. You will end round 4 with 44 double crochets. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. Great. Continue on. I'll meet you at the end. 41, 42, 43, and 44. Great. Slip stitch, top of the very first double crochet to close round 4. And this is what we're looking at, guys. For round 5, we will again chain 2 to get to round 5. Round 5's repeat pattern is different than what we have been doing so far. Round 5's pattern is going to be increase double crochet in the first stitch and then 1 double crochet in the next 10 stitches, and then repeat. 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet in the next 10 stitches, then 2 double crochet, and then 1 double crochet in the next 10 stitches. You will end round 5 with 48 double crochets. Here we go. 1, 2, and then 1 double crochet in the next 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Great. And then we repeat that pattern. 2 double crochet in the same stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 10 stitches. 1, 2, 45, 46, 47, and 48. Great. Go ahead and slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet. For round 6, we will chain 2, 1, 2. The pattern for round 6 will be increase double crochet in the first stitch and then 1 double crochet in the next 11 stitches, and then repeat. Increase double crochet and then 1 double crochet in the next 11 stitches. You'll repeat this pattern all the way around for round 6. You will end round 6 with 52 double crochets. Here we go. 1, 2, and then 1 double crochet in the next 11 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and repeat. 2 double crochet, 1, 2 in the same stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 11 stitches. 2, 3, 4, 50, 51, and 52. Great. Slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet to close off round 6, and we are ready for round 7. For round 7 through round 12, you're just going to make a chain 2, 1, 2, and then make 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around. Each round, 7 through 12, should have 52 double crochets within that round. All right, go ahead and work round 7 through round 12, which is just 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around. And I will meet you at the end of round 12 to show you how to do the ear flaps. Great, just finishing round 12 right here. Perfect. Once you have finished round 12, you continue on with the ear flaps. We don't cut anything off. For ear flap number 1, we're going to chain 1, single crochet in the same stitch that we just slip stitched into. So there's 1 single crochet. And now single crochet in the next 9 stitches for a total of 10 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10. Great. Chain 1, turn your beanie so that way you are looking towards the inside of your beanie. For row 2 of our ear flap, we will decrease single crochet the first 2 stitches together. So insert your crochet hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull through. Insert your crochet hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. You should have 3 loops on your crochet hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops for a decrease single crochet. Make 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then decrease single crochet the last 2 stitches together. Perfect. Chain 1, turn your beanie so you are looking again at the outside of your beanie. For row 3 of our ear flap, you will make 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way across. You should end with 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 8. Perfect. Chain 1, turn our beanie so we are again looking towards the inside of our beanie. For row 4 of our ear flap, you will decrease single crochet the first 2 stitches. 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then decrease single crochet the last 2 stitches. So what you will notice, if you are working an even row on your ear flap, or if you are looking on the inside of your beanie towards your ear flap, you will decrease the first 2 stitches, single crochet across, and decrease the last 2 stitches. If you are working an odd number row, or if you're looking at the outside of your beanie, you will just make 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way across. That's how you will know what you're doing in your row. So I just finished row 4. I'm going to chain 1, turn my beanie. For row 5, because it's an odd number row, or because I'm looking at the outside of my beanie, I know that I'm just going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way across. Perfect. Chain 1 and turn. So for row 6, I'm going to decrease the first 2 single crochets, single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then decrease single crochet the last 2 stitches. Chain 1, turn our work. For row 7, we're going to single crochet in each stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 1, turn. For row 8, we're going to decrease single crochet the first 2 stitches. Oh, and then there's 2 stitches left, so I'm just going to decrease single crochet the last 2 stitches. Perfect. Chain 1 and turn. Now for me, for row 9, I am just going to, even though I'm looking at the outside of the beanie, I'm just going to decrease single crochet to close off this ear flap. What that will do is it'll make a more rounded ear flap. If I were to just do 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, like a normal row on the outside of the beanie, chain 1 and turn, then row 10 being a decrease, that will make my ear flap pointed, more pointy. I like my ear flap more rounded. So if you want to go to row 10, make it pointy, go for it. For me, I'm going to back up to row 9, and even though I'm looking at the outside of the beanie, for row 9, I'm going to decrease single crochet, and it makes it more rounded. Grabbing my scissors, cutting my yarn, small tail because we're going to crochet over it or weave it in. Yarn over, pull through the loop, pull tight for a slip knot, and ear flap number 1 is done. For ear flap number 2, first thing I do is I look for the join. Where's the join? I want the join towards the back of the beanie. I don't want the join towards the front of the beanie where it's super obvious. You want the front part of this line, if you push your beanie flat, you want the front part of this line to be longer than the back part of this line. This is where your forehead will be and your eyes, your nose. This is the back of your head. So you want this side to be a lot longer than this side. And then here's my join, and I want my join to be towards the back of the beanie. Once you see that you're happy with where your ear flap would be, pinching both sides together, flip it, and this will help you to identify where you will attach your yarn to make ear flap number 2. For ear flap number 2, start with a small enough tail. I'm going to just crochet over it so it doesn't need to be long enough to weave in any ends. Creating my slip knot, attaching my crochet hook. So I see, okay, so here's my beanie. Where does this line up? Lines up with this crochet stitch right here. All right, perfect. To attach my yarn, I'm going to slip stitch. Yarn over, pull through. Pull all the way through the loop that's already on my hook, leaving me with just 1 loop on my crochet hook. Chain 1, single crochet in that same stitch that I just slip stitched into. That is my very first single crochet. And now I'm ready to make 10 single crochets across from my bottom row. So that's 1, 2, 3, 9, 10. Perfect. Chain 1, turning our work. Now, just like we did with the first ear flap, if we are looking on the inside of the beanie, or if it is an even number row, we will decrease single crochet the first 2 stitches. 1 single crochet in each stitch across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then decrease single crochet the last 2 stitches. Perfect. All right, I'm going to let you finish the second ear flap to the point where I will meet you at that point. If you are unsure what to do on each row, just refer back to the first ear flap. They're done the exact same way. All right, and I will meet you when we are all finished with ear flap number 2. Oh my gosh, I just finished my second ear flap and I had just enough yarn to make this beanie. I was starting to get really nervous there for a second. So when you finish your second ear flap, just cut your yarn, yarn over, pull through that loop, pull tight for a slip knot, and we are done with the main body of the beanie and we're ready to move on to the border. Grab color number 2, or you can make the border the same color as the body. Looking at your beanie, you see the wide part and the narrow part. I'm going to squish my beanie so it's flat. I want the narrow part of the beanie facing up, grabbing the color that you're going to use for the border. Let's make a long enough tail so that way we can weave in our ends, create our slip knot, attach our crochet hook, and we are ready to go. So I put my crochet hook into the stitch right where the ear flap here meets with the main body of the beanie, right in that little nook, that little corner. I will yarn over, pull through, pull all the way through for a slip stitch, leaving me with just one loop on my crochet hook. Chain 1, single crochet in that same stitch I just slip stitched into. And now you're going to single crochet in each stitch all the way around the entire beanie. Let me go ahead and single crochet up to the next ear flap, and I'll meet you at this next ear flap to show you how I crochet around the ear flap. 1 single crochet in each stitch. Okay, perfect. I have single crocheted 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way up to this next ear flap. Now for me, I know that I have 9 rows in my ear flaps. We established that in the creation of the ear flap. If you went the extra row and made 10 rows for your ear flap, this is where it's going to be a little different. You're going to want to make 1 single crochet in the side of each row. So for me, I know I'm going to have 9 single crochets going up the side. If you did 10 rows, you will have 10 single crochets going up the side. Looking at the row, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then here at the tippy top would be 9. Great, so there's my 9 single crochets going up my 9 rows. Then you're going to make 2 more single crochets. 1, 2 in the top point here, and then we're going to single crochet 9 single crochets all the way down the other side of the ear flap. 1 more single crochet in the top, 1, next row down. I'm going to crochet over this tail, so I'm going to push that tail against the work and just crochet over it. If you want to leave the tail out and weave it in with a yarn needle or tapestry needle, you can feel free to do that too. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. Okay, once you are down to the other side of the ear flap, ready to reconnect with the main body of the work, continue making 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. Go ahead and continue, and I will meet you at ear flap number 2 to go over ear flap number 2 with you, just to make sure you got it. All right, we just reached ear flap number 2. I have a tail here that I'm going to push against the work. Again, I know I have 9 rows, so I have 9 single crochets to make up the side of this ear flap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the tip top, 9. Perfect. 2 more single crochets. 1, 2, and then 9 stitches down the bottom, starting in that point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Great. Now that you've met up to the other side of your border where you started, just slip stitch into the top of the very first single crochet. Grab your scissors, cut off a long enough tail to weave in your ends, yarn over, pull through that loop, pull tight for a slip knot. Brilliant. And there is your border. What you will do now is you'll weave in your ends, cut off any little remaining tails that might still be poking out, clean up your beanie. You can either choose to stop here or you can move on to making the braids. Let's go ahead and move on to making the braids right now. Taking your tape measure or ruler, pair of scissors, and whatever colors you want within the braid section. It can be multiple colors or 1 solid color. That's all you will need. If you are hoping to work smaller braids, little tiny braids, just enough to tug that beanie on top of head, that would be 12-inch long strips of yarn. If you want your braids a little bit longer, I also like making my strips 18 inches long for a little bit longer braids. I'm going to go ahead and just do the 12-inch long strips here. making sure that I'm not pulling the yarn tight. It's just resting. That's important because if I were to pull this tight and cut right there, it would end up shrinking to 10 inches and then I'd have less to work with in my braid. 12 inches right here. For a fuller braid, I will make 12 strips per ear flap. So go ahead, take a second to cut enough strips. You're gonna want a total of 24 strips, 12 on one ear flap, 12 on the other. Perfect. Once you have 2 groups of 12 strips, go ahead and move one group off to the side, grab your beanie and grab your crochet hook. Taking your crochet hook and coming in from the inside of the beanie out, grabbing all of your cuts, your strips, folding them in half, taking your crochet hook, grabbing the middle of the fold and pulling that through the beanie ear flap, only a little bit, not all the way. Relax the pull, remove your crochet hook, take your thumb and your pointer finger, just like that, grab the rest of the strips and pull them through the loop. Slowly pull tight. And now you have a tassel looking creation. Because you started with 12 strips, by folding it in half, you now have 24 little strings hanging out the bottom. We're going to divide these 24 strings into 3 sections so we can braid them together. There will be 8 strips in each section. Now I will grab something heavy to put on my beanie so that way it will stay still while I braid. I don't have anything heavy right now, so I'm just going to try to loosely braid and keep form for you. Braid as far down as you can to the bottom of the strips. Great, and once you've gone as far down as you can go, I will take all those strips and I will pinch them. Take 2 fingers, wrap the braid around my 2 fingers, go above and push those strings down between my fingers, coming out the bottom. Grab all those little strings, slowly guide the knot to the bottom. Also trying to make sure all of my little strings come through. Here we go. Pull it tight. And that is how you form the braid with a small knot on the bottom. I will then take my scissors and I will line all these strips up and I'll kind of cut them to even them out, really cleaning it up. And that is ear flap number 1 and its braid. All you'll have to do is repeat that for the second ear flap and then the ear flaps are done. Again, just having to weave in those ends. You can either stop here or you can move on to making a pom-pom or another embellishment on the beanie itself to personalize it however you would like to personalize your beanie. I'm going to include a link right here at the top of the screen for a pom-pom tutorial showing you how to make a pom-pom with both the pom-pom maker and your hand. That way you have options there, or you can just leave the beanie